Hey! Man, it is really raining outside. Phew. Man, this has been a stressful month. Um, just yesterday and earlier today, got done making a few things for myself for a change instead of for other people. Out of this stuff, I've got rolls and rolls and rolls of it. It's actually buffalo hide. This is oil tanned. It's very beautiful, very soft, and yet extremely tough. It's wonderful when you can make things yourself, especially really custom things. And I've had to make a lot of things for myself that I don't even know where I could find it. Or if I could find it, it wouldn't be good enough. And it certainly wouldn't be tough enough. And if it was tough enough, it'd just be too darn expensive. I'm going to talk about a little bit later. There's a lot of Amish and Mennonites. I don't know if you know what Mennonites are. They're basically like the Diet Coke version of the Amish. There's a lot of them in Kentucky. There's a lot of them in Ohio and Pennsylvania. Not the religious end, but some of the life philosophy that they have I'd like to talk about in this video. It has been an extremely stressful couple weeks. I handle stressors very well. I mean, at least I think I do. I can actually see through it when you actually see this world correctly. You know, it's a mirage and a phantasm of people chasing after things and nonsense. There's a whole lot of evil going on in the world. I actually could have been a 5-minute phone call today, and I know you've experienced stuff like this yourself. It lasted for just under half an hour, and I had to call back 3 different times. People are just so incompetent. I swear to you, I'm absolutely 100% certain that people are becoming less and less and less intelligent, and that's a serious issue. I'm trying to save up some funds to get myself. I actually have to have it. I don't believe in investing in e-trash. You know what e-trash is? It's stuff that lasts a few years, if that, and then of course you basically have to throw it away. Saving up for a MacBook Air. I actually need a MacBook Air. I use it all the time. My other one is older than dirt. That's different than my desktop, but I know I cringe at the notion of buying e-trash, and all computers, whether they last a long time or short time, are all e-trash. You and I both know, unless you have your head in the sand, there's a whole lot of tyranny going on in the world. You know, I don't know if at the age of 51 or because I have such a pretty darn good, more than most people my age, certainly so, way more, life experience and things that I've seen, and I'm not going to comply with tyranny. There's a really brilliant statement that I heard recently, a few months ago anyway. It said if you're not working on your dreams, you're working on somebody else's, and that's just incredibly true. I have my own mottos, ones that have proven out to be incredibly true, like to insult a fool is the praise of wisdom, nothing true is popular, nothing popular is true. And a few others that I actually live my life by that have proven out to be golden and extremely accurate. I swear, the people that I encounter out there, it's not because I'm getting older and I see young people, it's like, well, all old people see young people like that. No, this is something totally different. These people can't tie their own shoes. It's been demonstrably proven that they can't even read a manual clock. You know, a manual clock with the hands on. It's like, what time is it? Looking at that clock. I don't know. You don't know how to read a manual clock. You know, just stuff like that. I had to spend, like I said, a half an hour on the phone today over something that if they'd called me and I was working there, would have taken less than 5 minutes. One of the things of what the Amish do, and I'm not talking about their belief system. You know, there's a whole lot of stuff there that I'm both not interested in. I'm going to say that very lightly, but there's a lot of things that they do in a belief system that they have that I've been trying to follow to the best of my ability for many years, and I love the way they'll actually adapt electrical machines, and not all Amish are the same, by the way. There's a name for a group, and it has leaders, and they'll actually dictate what you can and can't do. So not all Amish are absolutely identical, but they'll actually take electrical things like sewing machines and like that ice cream churn. I posted that video up on Instagram. It was an electrical ice cream machine. But I mean, the electricity is just to turn a motor to turn the gears, like in the ice cream churn. Well, they adapt an enormous amount of electrical devices to bottle gas or compressed air. I know it's kind of nutty. It's like it was working to begin with, and they retrofitted it to run off of gas. But it's amazing the stuff that they'll do, that's so simple, and they fix, kind of like me. I mean, I can't fix cars. If I can identify the part, know how to take it apart, I could do it. I can fix most things, and I make my own clothing, but that whole idea that they actually cherish skills above, going out and buying, it's broken, I'm going to go out and buy a new one. Vested in things in my life that, I don't have to worry about. It's really important. People take it lightly. But invest in things that you'll only ever have to buy one of them. I have like a titanium fork and spoon set, and I have like a couple, three of them. But I only really use one set, and that's all I need for the rest of my life. Seeds, like these were made in the early 1960s. I have a reason on some of my machines, including my sewing machines here, to oil them. They have to be regularly oiled. These are really cute, by the way. These came really rusty, crusty, dusty, and I polished them up. They're Yugoslavian brass oilers from the early 1960s. I've got like 3 of these, and they're so cute, and they're indestructible. I actually, took sandpaper and took the crustiness off of them and applied a little semi-chrome, and they look brand new. And I'll only ever need, even though I've got 3 of them, because I got them for $4 a piece, I'll only ever need 1 of these. Let's say I lose one, I still got 2 more. I mean, okay, that little niche in my life has been solved. Another little niche in my life has been solved, and another, and before you know it, there's a certain pride, and people need to have pride in having something that they only ever need 1 of. Or, I love having things that I know how to fix. Now, I know you can see 1 of them here, but these sewing machines, other than the needles breaking, or you're doing something incredibly stupid, the inside of these are like old John Deere tractors. They're basically indestructible. I've made so much custom leather goods, and these are, however, everybody's broke now. I'm not really getting any leather good orders like I used to, but money makers. And so I can fix anything, I can make anything, out of leather, cases, wallets, belts. My favorite belts I've ever had in my life. And I've had, and still do have, some really, really expensive belts, like the Wilderness belts, made out of indestructible nylon and these super thick buckles. Well, my favorite belt in the whole world are the ones that I make. I made more than a few of those for you all and sent them off to you, and a lot of you responded back like, hey, this is the toughest thing that I got. Stuff like that, and I want to get to this in a second. I want to invest in things, and I have been. Invest in things, just bear with me for a second, because I've never heard anybody say this way, or really in a roundabout. Invest in things that invest in me. Something that I was never taught in high school or college. And I don't care about money. I care about not having to worry about bills. But I literally made less than half last year. Just a hair less than half what I made the year prior, yet I worked harder last fiscal year than I did the year prior. I know everything's collapsing. I have my eyes peeled way better than most people. I know what's going on in the world. But there's an old saying of people that will get $1. Someone will get $1 and they'll think about spending it. What could I spend it on? Other people get the $1 and think about how they could put that $1 to work for them. And that, I don't know anybody out there other than, some intelligent parents that teach anybody, their kids, or it's not taught in high school or college, and it should be taught. So you really have to spend that $1. If you're going to spend it on something that it will work for you instead of buying something that's going to fall apart. I try not to buy anything that's going to fall apart. I do need, and I am saving for a new laptop because mine's older than dirt. But other than that, I don't want to buy anything that's going to, a car falls apart, obviously. I have one vehicle, but I've got supposedly, the most reliable vehicle in the world. Everything else, essentially, I can fix. I know how to fix my own plumbing. It's a really nasty job. I mean, I've glued together an enormous amount of PVC, so I can fix that. I've become a bit of a guru on setting up solar systems, solar panels, charge controllers, power inverters, the correct wiring thereof and where to stick the fuses on. And I just set up a solar power system on my friend's farm in southern Kentucky. I'm going to set up several more. That one is a 600 amp hour lithium battery array. I'm going to set up several more down there. These are things that are wonderful. You don't have to rely on anybody else, and everybody has become so frigging unreliable. And this is the case unless you've had your head buried in the sand. I have had an issue most of my life, and that I'm too nice, and I do mean that literally. There's a lot of energy vampires out there. The older you get, the more you realize the most invaluable thing, and of course time doesn't ultimately exist, but exists conventionally and relatively. Most important thing you have is time. I haven't been to my cabin in over 2 months. I've literally been so frickin' busy trying to make ends meet because my income was down literally less than half. Literally less than half last year as opposed to the prior year. So I'm struggling trying to make ends meet. I actually listed on Facebook and Instagram that I'm selling one of my farms. Yes, I have a couple farms. I'm selling my best piece of land. I actually put that on Facebook and Instagram. You just see everything, the closer you look, as just a complete and total scam. 99% of everything other than love and wisdom in this life is a scam or somebody trying to scam somebody. The same trash that was taught to us in the 80s about fearing Russia. Now, I lived in Russia, and I've seen a lot of Russia. Yeah. I speak absolutely без акцентов Russian. I used to be a Russian translator. I've been to Russia, all over Russia. Oh, we're so afraid of right now. Russia has a lot of kinetic devices. You have immense power, but Russia has never been anything to fear. 99% of Russia just looks, like they're in the Stone Age. I have friends that have been all over China. I have not, nor do I speak Mandarin, but they report the same thing in China. Like, oh, we're so afraid of China. Well, we see the big city, Hong Kong, all these other places. Americans and Europeans are taught to fear these places. They are actually not to be feared. These are our Western governments filling us full of lies and propaganda, to live in fear. And of course, when you live in fear, then you're more apt to listen to the government. Well, we'll take care of it for you. It's something to be feared, but we'll take care of it. And just all of this stuff is just such a rancid scam. I've had 10 million people ask me about the Tucker / Rootin' Tootin' Putin interview. I said, what did you think of that interview? And it's like, you don't really want me to tell you. Because I watched the whole thing. I listened to what he said, по-русски языка, in Russian. By the way, that's what that means. I'm not going to tell you here, but I told people on live stream. I said this, boom, boom, boom. Oh my God, I didn't think you were going to say that. Well, you did ask me, didn't you? There's someone that is familiar with that guy and having lived in Russia and familiar with the freedoms, rather lack thereof. You asked me, I'll tell you. And it's an unbelievable. What did you think about that interview? You don't really want to know. If you don't really want to know the answer, you should not really ask the question. There's so many people that are complicit with evil. I have relatives, that are nurses. Do you know nurses are supposed to be there to help people? Do you have any idea what nurses over the past few years did? Yeah, you do know. I'm not going to say it because you know too. What these people that swore an oath, I hear doctors don't have to swear the Hippocratic Oath anymore. What these people did in worshiping the idol, and they're idol worshipers, that's what they are. They're worshiping the business that they work for. They all got a little badge. It's no different than wearing a cross around your neck, a religious symbol, or any other sort of religious icon. These people wear these name badges as the name of the hospital. They're worshipers of evil. And they're, instead of saying, oh no, that's evil, I'm not going to do that. You're going to fire me? I don't care, go ahead and fire me. Instead of actually having a backbone, your neighbors, including yourself, not necessarily you who I'm talking to, have been complicit in such monumental, titanic, Sasquatch level, Loch Ness monster level evil that it's unspeakable. There's a saying from that movie line again, which is so apt, that movie V for Vendetta. It says, if you're looking for somebody to blame, you need to look no further than a mirror. And that's so true. If it's not the person you see in the mirror, it's your neighbor. My neighbor's been a nurse for 20 years. She'd never do that. Yeah, she is. She's afraid of losing her job. She was complicit with evil. You know, they had trials in this city called Nuremberg, and the excuse given that, oh, I'm just following orders, you know, that didn't fly there, and it doesn't fly now. Didn't fly then, and it doesn't fly now. So I've heard a lot of nurses say, I'm just following orders, you know, if I didn't do it, I'm getting fired. Well, you should have gotten fired. You should have said no. Evil is far less than 1%, the great evil that masterminds this stuff. And it requires the 99% of people, and thankfully for the evil, and I don't mean thankfully literally, of the 99% that fall in line with that evil because they're worshiping evil and they're following talismans. You know, got the little badge here. It's the hospital I work for, and you know, they pay me pretty good, but I, you know, complicit with evil. But evil is really proud of the fact that these people are cowards and they don't have backbones. I, however, do. I'm proud of the fact that I have a backbone. I'm fat, bald, and tattooed, and moderately ugly, and I don't have any money. I know why I'm undateable, but a backbone I do have. You'd be surprised how I am in public. I have a zero tolerance. Someone's going to say, that's because you're older. You know, you're getting crotchety. No, that's not it. I've never always been that way. I can see right through evil, and I don't care what consequences it has for me. I won't put up with it. I won't bear with it. Demons substitute what someone who loves wisdom and love, and I don't mean eros love, I mean agape love and wisdom. They substitute worldly power and possessions. They think they can build up something in this world, and you can't build up anything. You know, you're just putting gold leaf on top of a steaming pile of the stinky stuff. And that's what these evil people do. People need to be taught what evil is, recognize the worship of evil and evil talismans, and well, you're working for evil. I know you've been doing it many years, but now they want you to be complicit with evil. You know, it's time to make the sacrifice in more ways than one. It's no different than a religion. I've really grown increasingly puckered, I guess would be the correct word, against these energy vampires. I spent 3 hours, well, nearly 3 hours last night on live stream. It doesn't make me a single dime. I love to be there because I love to help people and talk with people, and I do that 3 times a week. It's like if I'm really sick or tired, it'll be 2 hours, but 2 to 3 hours. I do that 3 nights a week on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. And I'm not doing it because it gains anything from me other than helping people. I love helping people, but sometimes people will literally drain the living heck out of me, and, you know, I'm not getting any younger. I would just love to spend a night or two at my cabin. I have this cabin I haven't even been to in 2 months, but, you know, I can't rationalize going there because I'm trying to make ends meet. And sometimes I have a difficult time translating that to people. It's like, I'm sorry, you don't understand that when I said I work 7 days a week, I actually literally meant I work 7 days a week. You know, there's these 2 movies. One of them, and by the way, it sounds like a goofy movie that I would never watch. Everybody should see it. I hear they're going to make a sequel to it. It's a really, really good movie. It's about confronting evil, and the plot is good, the movie is good, the action is good. It sounds like a really goofy name, and when I heard the title, I'm never going to watch this. I was sick at the time with the Coof. It came out, and it actually didn't do very well at the movie theater because that's when the Coof went whammo, phew, in 2019. It's called Alita Battle Angel. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud in the movie, but in a video. It's actually a really, really good movie, and I know it's based on a comic book or some sort of nonsense like that. But, you know, everybody's on the ground is like a peon that's like making stuff and serving these echelon people that live in a sky city that's floating on anti-gravity, and there's these tubes that go up to this sky city called Zalem, right? You got all the peons down below living in poverty, and they're completely complicit. And of course, it never goes into that part in the movie. It's a great movie, by the way. You should see it. But, you know, what if everybody on the ground's like, you know, we're not gonna live down here in dirt and squalor and send all the good stuff up to the floating sky city. You know, where all the people are up there looking over the edge like, oh, look at those peasants down there. You know, the exact same thing is going on in this world as it is in that movie. There's another movie about this, too. It's called Elysium, starring Jodie Foster and Matt Damon. Not a very good actor. This is also, too, about a sky city in space. You know, everybody's up there living in luxury, and they got machines that cure every disease, and, you know, they refuse to share it, and everybody on the ground on Earth is like a working peon that's working to serve Elysium. You know, all these elitist snobs that think they're better than everybody else. And they're not better than anybody. They're actually way worse than everybody. But they dress finer, and they smell better, and, you know, they eat better. But they're not better. All of this stuff only exists because the 99% of everybody is too spineless, too much of a coward, worshiping idols because they've all like, well, I serve Elysium. You know, for example, of course, that's fake. No different than a nurse wearing a little thing of the hospital she works at. Countless other people that's serving some sort of demon, and they know what they're doing is not right. But they're doing it, well, I need a job, you know. Well, yeah, you do, but you've completely... you know, you have no backbone. You're doing all the wrong and evil things. You should see that movie. Yeah, it's called Zalem. Lead a Battle Angel. Everybody works to feed this floating sky city. What if everybody stopped feeding it? You know, things would go back to natural order. Natural order is not meant to be that way. That's not survival of the fittest. Because, like, everybody in... And we have the same thing going on in this world. You know, the richest people in the world are trying to build rocket engines. You know exactly who they are, the two people. You know who they are. You know exactly who they are. They're trying to get to space and the moon and Mars as quick as possible. They are literally trying to make a reality of the Lead a Battle Angel movie and Elysium. They want to be up there in the sky looking down with binoculars. Oh, look at all the peons down there. Oh, look at that. They're living in squalor. At least they're sending us up goods and services. You gotta stop feeding. You gotta stop feeding the beast. It would all end. Except so many people are spineless, gutless. Anyway, on to the Amish. Something, once again, that I'm going to buy and invest in things with my non-existent funds, really, that invest in me. Seed trays. I'm really good at sprouting seeds. This is like 1.5 pounds of alfalfa. You have any idea how long this could feed like a 3-person family? Just this little bag of seeds. It's absolutely off the hook. Just this bag. And of course I have a whole lot more than... I got, maybe 200 pounds of this. And yes, I know how to correctly store it, and it's not out in the light. This just happens to be a bag that I use for growing seeds. Seed trays, things that don't break. Solar. That way I'm independent of the grid. I'm really good at setting up solar. I can make my own clothing. I can fix things and make custom things. How many people do you know that do leather work anymore? I got 4 super expensive, basically indestructible leather sewing machines. You will only see one of them in the angle of this camera, but I got 4 of them around here. Tools, I have a lot of tools. These sewing machines are essentially tools. Skills, I love learning new skills. Like I said, I have countless rolls of leather for making things. Dead ends, e-trash, you know, I know e-stuff is trash, electronic trash, but I'm trying to save up to get a new MacBook Air because I actually do need it for my job. Dead ends also too, the Amish don't partake in, like debts and loans, cheap plastic junk. Here's some of the secrets that the Amish have. I follow most of these. I'm not actually a fan in any way, shape, or form of the belief system of the Amish, but of these things of the Amish I am. I have no credit cards, same as them. I have no debt and no credit cards. Of course, I have to pay taxes every year, yeah. They get out of a lot of that stuff that I can't get out of, which is brilliant for them. I haven't got that covered yet. They grow their own food. Well, I don't grow as much food, but I do grow my own food. Saving is a priority. They value experience. They're extremely wise businessmen. They have a 95+% success rate. They fix everything, they waste nothing, they recycle like crazy. I'm a person, if I see something cool on the side of the road, it's like, man, I could use that or repurpose it or fix it. I'm like that too. Broken junk, I can fix that, you know, get it at a garage sale. I'm all about the garage sales and the broken junk that I could fix. They buy in bulk, I do the same. They aren't brainwashed, because they don't have a television. They aren't brainwashed to want things that they don't need. We're all brainwashed by the idiot box. Buy this, you really need this. No, you don't. They buy used. I'm the exact same way. They never pay retail, essentially. Big item, and I'm the same way, is they reject government handouts. Flat out, bar none, they reject government handouts. I'm the exact same way. I'd rather be homeless than take a government handout. I want no indebtedness to the government because they are the definition of evil, and they are the evil. It's not alive. The reason why idolatry is evil, and I've talked about this before, is because it's not alive. Whatever flag it is that you're waving, it's not alive. And you say, well, there's 100 million people that are working for the government, you know, it's a working machine. You can call it a machine. It's not alive. The government is not a thing. A flag is not a living entity. All of these idols and icons and symbols that people wear around their neck, including the place they work for, these are not things that are alive. When you worship symbols that are not alive, you're actually worshiping evil. And the fruit of worshiping things that are not alive, i.e. evil, I will give you one guess, less than one guess, what the end result of that is. What it does not only to yourself, but also to others. This world is upside down, and I will not partake in the evil. I don't claim to be perfect on all these fronts, but I strive hard to make my life as simple as possible because it makes life so much easier. My life is difficult enough as it is. I've had enough pain in this life. You know, honestly, I have. If listening to your wife scream every night for 10 years, dying from a giant brain tumor isn't enough, then nothing is enough. I'm in constant pain every day, and I won't put up with the nonsense. That doesn't mean I'm cranky or old. It just means I have a low tolerance for nonsense, propaganda, and twaddle, or as the English would call it, poppycock, or nonsense, hogwash, balderdash. Take your pick. Thanks so much for watching. And if you want to contact me about anything, my email's in the description below.